Bum 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 bum. The Peter Shit Show. Bum 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 bum. I'm calling my show the Peter Shit Show today because I'm once again burnt out at work, and it just goes to show that we have a very unhealthy attitude toward work, right? So last week we had spring break, we returned to work, and I am once again severely burnt out. I had a number of students who had special issues, and there was a lot of learning curve going on. And I just wish that we could spread out work a little bit more, right? Last week I was bored out of my mind. You guys saw I poured 200 Buddha statues, and even then I was bored out of my mind, and I was didn't know what to do with myself. I wish I could have taken this week's work and averaged it out into last week, right? I so much wish for that. Unfortunately, I often beat at a different wavelength than everybody else around me, and oftentimes that causes a little bit of trouble. Case in point, 2 nights ago I was at a board game meetup. I was playing my favorite game, Ticket to Ride. Not the Berlin version, but the US version. When we got to the end and we were scoring our... well, first of all, I got very frustrated during the game, because I don't know how many people here have ever played Ticket to Ride, but I was collecting cards of a certain color to put down a track that was 6 or 7 train lengths long. I finally got it. I was waiting and anxiously hoping that the route wouldn't get taken or something wouldn't happen during somebody else's turn. I was watching. The guy, 2 players before me, makes a move. Thank God he doesn't take the route. But he accidentally takes somebody else's route. And they start arguing for about 5 minutes. And I lost it, and I screamed at them, please just go on. This stuff happens all the time. You've taken my route as well. I didn't argue like that. And the guy was very upset that I prevented them from arguing about that. And finally gets back to me. I placed that move. And I just couldn't wait to place the move. They continue arguing after I had moved. Now keep in mind, I was at the meetup at about 8, 9 p.m. and I was thinking I wanted to go to a nearby grocery store that closes at 10. And so I was kind of under time pressure as well. And they kept arguing about this stuff. At the end of the game, when we're scoring, I'm very good at counting score, and I put my cards out, I quickly added the routes that I had made, subtracted the ones I had not. I grouped them in a special way to make it easier to add and subtract, and so the guy got confused, and I just said, don't worry, I know what I'm doing, and I proceeded to count up everybody's score within like 2 minutes. What would have taken them hours and hours if they had argued. You know, it reminded me of what happened when I was working on my PhD. We used to get a lot of these group projects, and I would always do horribly with them. And the reason I would do horribly is because the project would come, and I would be light years ahead of all the other students, and I didn't have the patience to argue with them. And they didn't want to listen to me, so oftentimes I found myself telling them to just go fuck yourselves. I can't deal with you anymore. You know, I was young and naive at the time. Today I probably, you know, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably do the project on my own and let them do their own version and tell the professor what's going on. I don't know. But you know what? I'm not a very good team player in those kind of situations. All right, but it just goes to show that a lot of times, whether or not we succeed in life has a lot more to do with the wavelength we beat at, rather than what we are capable of contributing, right? Which is why I really want to my art projects to be successful, because I could do that at my own wavelength, right? Sometimes in the middle of the night I get the urge to do it, I just go do it, right? I can't do that with my teaching career, right? Sometimes I get the best ideas when I'm out there, right? Next month we're going to go see a solar eclipse. I guarantee some of the best art ideas are going to come on my trip to the solar eclipse or while viewing it, right? Unfortunately, if good teaching ideas come when I'm out there viewing the solar eclipse, they often dissipate before I can get back to the office, right? This is the Peter Shit Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Shit Show. Bum 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 bum.